Okay, so welcome to a new element of our series, Heart and Hope Conversations. I'd like to welcome a very special guest, my sister, Fertisha Hall. She is truly my day one and my inspiration in so many ways. In addition to being a leader in her field, a powerful woman of faith, a wife, a mother, a sister, and a Gigi to her two beautiful grandsons. She is also living with chronic illness and was the primary caregiver to our mother during the last 2 years of her life. So in so many ways, this passion project is inspired by my sister as much as by my own journey. So I want to turn it over to her to give a short summary of her experience as a person living with chronic illness and as a caregiver, and how that has shaped her into who she is today. So over to you.
Oh, thank you. What a nice intro. And I'm just so happy to be here and honored to be here as part of this project. But yeah, let's just jump right in. My journey started with my chronic illness at 18. I was diagnosed with chronic hypertension. And so really that's like for older people, it was just very jarring for me to get that diagnosis and then try to figure it out, try to manage medications and what to eat. There's always those solutions. Oh, if you lose weight, if you eat this, if you run a mile, those are all things, of course we should take care of our health. But those are all things that, were thrown at me. And then a year later, you're still in the same place or worse. So for me, it was very, very disappointing and defeating, and I felt a lot of guilt about it. It was just very hard, and a long, long a road with me because I still carry it with me now. But in that journey of trying to figure it out, then our mom got sick, and she got her cancer diagnosis, and with that, just very scary, uh, here's the plan, the treatment plan, and just trying to wrap your head around, all of that. And, caring for her, too, was, a lot of appointments, a lot of, treatment. She didn't feel good. And then, work, have a daughter of my own, and then also, try to manage my health, which up until that point, I wasn't really great at managing that either. So then, we got hers. And so then, of course, my health took a toll. It took a nosedive because I didn't care for really any of my, my teeth, my eyes, my, my lady appointments. None of that got done because her appointments took priority. So for 2 years, I just kind of spiraled out of control. And with the hope that she would get better or things would get better, and of course that journey ended with her passing. But yeah, I feel like coming forward, years down the road, that I've learned some things and I have some knowledge and I feel more confident about, my health and my team of providers, and that we did the best we could for mom, and so yeah, I think hopeful. I guess that's the whole thing about this is hope. I feel hopeful, right, about that, it was a death sentence when I got at 18. Oh, people who get this or have this at this young of age, we're looking at heart attack and, what I mean, and those type of things. And to know that we've managed it to this point, and gone through all that is really makes me hopeful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that, and even as your sister, as close as we were and as we are, I did not realize that you were diagnosed with that chronic condition at such a young age, and that you were doing the day-to-day caregiving responsibilities for mom and dealing with your own chronic illness while I was living 100 miles away and, trying to get there and do what I could to hold the space, and I don't think I knew or understood everything that you were going through. And so what is one thing that you wish that others understood better about both chronic illness and caregiving?
Um, yeah, I think uh, it's such a personal journey. It's so personal. But just knowing that you have a voice, you have your part to play in the journey. That you know the doctors know. The doctors know medicine, but you know your body, right? That you know how you're feeling. You know what this medication does to you. How much your life, how it's going, and what you need to get done in a day. And sometimes that doesn't interact with your medications and your treatment plan, right? And so that you have a voice that you have to communicate, and that it's okay to say, hey, whoa, I need more information, or I don't like the way I feel when I take this pill, or this makes me throw up, or just to know that, and know that people around you, because it's such a silent thing, your employer may not know you're not feeling well today, right? So that you need to communicate those things to you, like your employer, to your, even your friends and family, when they're asking you to go to events and stuff like that, and you just can't, and it's not because you don't love them and you don't want to be there, but today I'm just not feeling good. And some people, will be like, oh, well, just take a pill, or what I mean? And so sometimes that communication of like, yeah, it's pretty serious. And I just, I can't. I love you. And so I think for caregiving, I think just having that mindset of knowing that sometime you're going to need help. And sometime you're going to need support, and that sometime that person is going to not be themselves, or they're not going to want your help. They may not even want your help. That's when you have these things, like with the chronic illness, and your providers, that you just have to ask for support, right? And that and just know that it's okay to feel helpless and sad, and all of those things. And know that you just may have to call to arms, family, friends, tell the healthcare providers, hey, I need more information. And so, yeah, I think, a lot of us are, whether we know it or not, are having chronic illness, right? Whether, we recognize it as that designation or not, but that taking care of yourself is a priority.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Thank you for sharing that perspective. And it is so, so true. And even during those hard days, even now, what keeps you going?
Um, kind of knowing that I'm winning, right? What was a death sentence has now become, two beautiful children and two grandchildren later, right? And that, I learned how to make it work for me, right?
Mhm.
There's certain, the salad and water diet is just not gonna work for me. I love food. So I find things alternatives that I can eat. I'm always looking, Google, and, different things on Pinterest. I'm always getting different ideas for meals and things that are protein, healthy. And I don't know. I think I'm comfortable in my skin. I think I've listened to my body enough that I kind of know what it is, and I feel comfortable with my team
Mm.
of medical providers, even down to my lady wellness, my dentist, my vision. I feel very comfortable with my team, and I share all my information with all of them, so they all know, and so that they can make good decisions. Because I think as professionals and specialists, they hyper focus on their specialty and they disregard everything else because they're the expert on, because
Mhm.
they're going to tell you I'm the expert.
Mhm.
But I think it's important that we communicate, even if they are not willing to. to let them know so that they're making the best decisions. So you're not having that, we fixed this, we broke that, right? So I think I feel like I'm moving forward. I feel like my quality of life is really great. And yeah, I have bad days. I still have bad days, or days where I'm like, but I think tomorrow, I look, next day, tomorrow is a better day, right? So that's really what I just tailored my condition to fit me.
Mm. So as you've navigated your journey and, found things that work for you and tried different things, how has coaching factored in, and how do you feel that coaching has helped you on your journey?
Well, I think, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. But I think a lot of us get stuck in that rut of we don't know what else to do. So we just keep rehashing the same thing that we did before.
Yeah.
So I was really stuck in doing a lot of things like that. And coaching really helped me, see the vision forward, right? And maybe see it a little differently than maybe what I had envisioned, and just keeping me accountable to taking those steps that I need to take every day, every week, every month to keep moving forward. So I think the accountability part really helped me a lot. And just having someone who, people are busy, and so, when you're telling me about your dreams and goals, they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. They're listening, right? Or not, but, they're listening, but there's not any really input there,
Yeah.
right? Other than, oh yeah, you'll be great at that, or why you wanted to do that, or whatever um side of the fence, the lemonade empty or half full, how they function, right? So coaching helps by just just that somebody, because it's your time, right? And so they're focused on what you want to talk about. And I think, and as far as the chronic illness portion, this is something that to me would have been gold that I never had, right? Just, a community, a group of people who just again have time, and they want to share with you, they want to walk with you through that, they want to listen. They have their own experiences that they can share, that you can either support or take ideas from. So I think it's just really important that when you have chronic illness, that you can feel really isolated and depressed or sad, and then of course there's treatment for that. But having a group to come together to as well, it makes you feel heard. It makes you feel not alone, so alone, and it makes you feel like not burdensome, like you're burdening somebody. Oh, they're talking about that again. I mean, so yeah, because sometimes it's a lifetime gig. So having that place where you can go and just talk about things. I'm tired, or the doctor was gave me this medicine and I just feel awful. That people are like, yeah, girl, I know, that we need that. So I think both prongs, whether you're wanting to do coaching because you have goals and dreams, or because you have, chronic illness, or you're caring for somebody with that it's just wonderful. It's a great thing to add to your support.
All right. So as you think about where you are now in your journey at all levels, what is one small win or comfort that you've held on to?
I think, I have a great team of care that I haven't always had. So that to me was very deliberate, and I'm just really thankful for that, right? That I feel like, they know me, I know them. That they're working together as best they can. And I think just me taking the driver's seat, being in the driver's seat of my healthcare is something that was so important that I didn't have early on. Early on, I was just patient on table. Whatever they fed me is what I did, right? And now I'm in, I'm more active, and I'm more involved, and I have a voice, and I use it. And so that's really been great. And as far as mom, of course, mom's journey ended with her passing, but I feel like we had moments in that journey where, we had a laugh, or we had a reflection, or I see a reflection in the mirror, or I think about things that she said, or things that she was trying to teach me, and maybe didn't receive at the time, but now are just like golden. And I think I keep her alive in that, I talk about her a lot, and my son will ask about Granny Jan, and I think that her legacy lives on in us, right, in you and I. And I think that when I miss her, that's what I lean into, is that she's still here, right? And she wanted us to be healthy and happy, and have these wonderful lives, and we do. And so I think that really keeps me going in it. And when I look at her and reflect on her, that we learned a lot in her illness and her sickness, about care and medicine and different things, and what we're capable of, what we can endure, and what we can come on the other side of. And so I think that both parts have really shaped me and helped me be a better human, a better person to the world, I think.
Yeah, well, I can attest that when I look at you, I do see mom. And I was literally saying yesterday that just how much I understand her better the older I get, and go through my own journey with my health and also with my children. So for sure. So as you mentioned, you've lived with chronic illness for most of your life. And you also had the opportunity to be a caregiver for our mother, and be with her through her journey through chronic illness for a period of time, and as into her passing, which I'm so grateful for. What message would you share with someone listening who feels alone, whether it's with their own chronic illness or in the role of caregiver?
Yeah, I think it comes with chronic illness, because chronic illness is so personal, right? It's your cross, your journey you're on. And so you feel alone, right? Because nobody can understand how you feel, really. They just really can't, right? But in saying that, coming from being very young and feeling, very alone, and every day just kind of suffering in silence, right? To now, I think now just reach out more, let people know, let your employer know, let your family know. I mean, family meeting, we got family meeting. I need some help, and seeking out in your community resources, probably if you have a thing that you need, there's probably a resource in the community that could provide that, right? Whether it's like a ride, or it's, home health, or whatever it is. Just, you're going to feel that, but in feeling that, maybe explore it, write it down, bring it to your chronic illness group, and then just, get resources, right? If sad and depression is not a fun thing, reach out to your healthcare provider, let them know. People are going to want to give you advice and whatever, and it's sometimes you just have to it's not what you need right now, but compartmentalize it and save it. You might need it later. So I think as caregiving for somebody, it is hard, because depending on what the illness is, sometimes they don't want your help, they don't want to talk about it, they don't like the way you're providing the help. And so in that, do what you need to feel supported. I mean, I think that that's really important. Eat well, make sure you're taking care of your health, ask for help, use the resources, don't be ashamed of, oh, I got to go and ask for help. No, I mean, the most important thing is to come on the other side, whatever that is. And so just reach out, and again, do your therapy, or join a chronic illness group like this, and just reach out and let people know.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for talking about your journey and just sharing a lot of amazing nuggets from a perspective of someone with chronic illness and someone that has been a caregiver of someone with chronic illness. And so anybody listening can tell that you just have such a lovely voice and a lovely presence. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to share about your passion project, Tish Talk. So please let us know what that is.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share about that. It's my little baby project, but it's coming together. Tish Talks came from my mother actually inspired Tish Talks because I remember her telling me I was very, very little, a baby, and the aunties came to see me and they were doing the goo 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 boo boo, and I was talking to them in full sentences. And they were asking my mom, "Whoa." How is this little baby talking? And she's like, she's talked like that since day one. So I guess, I'm gonna put some money behind the passion there. And so Tish Talks came into creation. So Tish Talks is a three-part trifecta of things that I'm trying to bring together. The first phase is going to be the ladies' night in, where we do a pampering session with you, friends, spouse, whoever, and we do some skincare and things like that, and just have a lovely evening inside. And that's coming probably in a couple of months. And then phase two is going to be where I talk for you. So public speaking isn't for everybody. So I'm going to be available to do lectures, to do book readings, to do eulogies, things like that for people who are like, you know what, I have this thing written down, but I really don't want to talk in front of people. So that's part two. It's a public speaking part. And then phase three will actually be my YouTube channel where we're going to talk about what you want to talk about. So it's going to be, let's talk about it. And so we're going to have a variety of topics and come together in a fun and interactive way and talk about things that are important to you. So that's my little baby project. I'm really excited working on that through some coaching and stuff like that. So again, just really great opportunity for if you have these dreams and ideas, coaching's a great way to do that. And so it'll coming soon. So be on the lookout for Tish Talks.
Well, I am super excited and I will be your first subscriber. So please let me know when that's all available.
Yes.
Thank you so much, my sister, for sharing your story with us today. Your honesty, strength, and heart remind us that none of us are alone on this journey. So to those of you who are watching, I hope this conversation offered a moment of reflection, a spark of hope, or simply the comfort of connection. That's what navigating chronic illness with heart and hope is all about. If today's conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who may need it. And remember, you are not defined by your diagnosis or by your grief. You are a whole and worthy person who's walking a path that deserves compassion. So until next time, I'm Valerie Alawiye, holding space with and for you with heart and hope. Thank you. Want to learn more? Subscribe to my newsletter for ongoing reflections, free tools, and notification of new episodes of Navigating Chronic Illness with Heart and Hope with Valerie Alawiye, my video series on grief, illness, and gentle healing. Or visit us on our website at coachingforchronicillness.com to explore options to receive more support.